Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Werewolf by Night, directed by Michael Giacchino, who's a longtime composer for the Marvel movies. Now, when it comes to a Halloween special, Marvel has quite a few monster mashes to go through when it comes to the comics, and the one they chose here is very fitting for the Halloween season. Not to mention one that actually is the most anti-Marvel of the whole bunch so far, at least as far as most of the Marvel products we got this year. But that's part of why I liked it so much. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story is about this group of monster hunters who are all being gathered in order to find and kill a monster in order to get possession of the Bloodstone, an artifact used by the Bloodstone family, mainly by the leader of the family, Ulysses Bloodstone, who's recently become deceased. However, when one of the hunters, named Jack, finds that the disgraced daughter of Ulysses, Elsa, has an issue with her family, things take a turn for the unexpected, especially considering that Jack seems to try to save a monster that the other hunters are trying to kill. So it's a race against the clock to try and take down the other hunters and to find a secret about Jack before the Bloodstone family gets their kills on. But that's all I'll say about the story. The whole film is only about 48 minutes long, not counting the credits, but what makes it work out so well is because the film doesn't really seem to have any scene that drags on too long. It doesn't feel like it's bloated beyond belief. It feels like a spooky story that's told in the exact amount of time it needed to, and it definitely has scenes that ultimately don't feel like they're filled with the usual Marvel humor. Granted, there are some bits of gallows humor here and there, especially considering when they turn Ulysses' corpse into essentially a puppet to talk with. But a lot of the film surprisingly has a lot of horror atmosphere that you don't usually see from the studio. For one, the whole film is shot in black and white, outside of a few shots near the end, and they really do help you get into the atmosphere of those classic Universal horror films. Outside of the Bloodstone itself, which is often the most colorful thing on screen, but even that adds to the atmosphere, and even the visual effects get to play off the style a bit more, considering the black and white makes the occasional CGI not as noticeable. On top of that, the action scenes are probably the bloodiest that Marvel has had so far. You know how the scenes in the Marvel films usually don't have any blood, and it feels like they're just very choreographed stunt shows or like a Power Rangers episode? Here, the blood is not only shown, but it actually splatters around quite a bit, even on the camera lens. That, along with some of the use of strong language, makes me think that maybe Marvel is actually planning to go for some more R-rated content in the future, especially considering they added Logan and Deadpool 2 to Disney Plus. And when it comes to some of that more adult content, I think they actually have done a decent job with it. Michael Giacchino also shows his skill of directing here as he gets a few shots that really do sell the horror atmosphere, especially a certain transformation that shows not only the transforming body, but also the reaction of someone who looks on in utter horror. It's right out of the Universal films in a way that shows that it's a clear homage. If I had to nitpick, I would say that some of the characters did feel like they have some dialogue that feels a little clunky, but even that's a minor complaint when it comes to all the stuff that this does well. So Werewolf by Night is short, sweet, and it certainly gives you something worth talking about after it's done. And that's why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. See you next time.